wipe out other people's history and you wipe us out. There's no signs of us ever having passed this way. You know, no footprints of our existence in the sands of time. Exactly, exactly. So if you start talking about there is no history, that we all are just Americans, that we all just showed up here as one group of people in harmony and balance, and there was no enslavement, there was no annihilation of the native people, or enslavement of African Americans in the Atlantic and as well as the Pacific slave trades. Then, but you know, a lot of that is coming from 2045. But the census is saying that in 2045, America for the first time will have a white minority. That's right. So, you know, these are strategies that are being put in place to offset, you know, the dominance of people who are melanated.
What strategies?
The strategy of saying you wipe out your history.
Oh.
And so, you know, you have no history.
Are we talking about the critical race theory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you have no history. So if you have no history, then you know, it's like the way they use miscegenation. You know, Dr. Clark said, you know, anytime the conqueror comes in, he would take the women. And then the offspring of the women, it would be, what is their blood called? What is their blood called? Is it the father or the mother? Oftentimes the offspring will take side with whoever has the power.
Wow.
That's the blood call. That's miscegenation, how it's been used with the Octoroon, Quadroon, and Mulatto here in this country. But we think all of that stuff is gone. Mm-hmm. We've gotten past that.
Right.
We've seen miscegenation twice in the White House.
And currently, like, has the brother just brought up the whole critical race theory scenario, how they fighting so hard to keep. It's not about you know they disguise it behind. You're teaching. I mean, no, you're teaching European children to hate themselves. Yeah. That's basically what the far the far right is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
But that's a disguise.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But if your history is composed and comprised of conquering, tricking, and misusing other people's trust, then it's something that needs to be discussed so that we can begin to do what? To heal. See, in any relationship, we will never heal until there's open and honest dialogue. If there's no open and honest dialogue, we will continue to be that lab rat on that treadmill.
Yeah.
Around and around and around and around.
Do you ever foresee that happening?
Well, there's a glimmer of hope in the fact that they recognize that if they did teach the children, it would change something. See, because when you reduce this organism down to its infinitesimal state, it's nothing but energy and information. That's all it is.
Right.
So if you put that information in there,
interesting.
If you put that information in there, like the truth of the matter, then the behavior would follow.
Yeah. And so...
And not to cut you off, but a good example of that is when King was alive. And King was talking to this multiracial audience all the time. What really King was doing, he started to touch the children about the wicked ways of their parents. People say it was Vietnam that got King assassinated, but it was also the fact that he was reaching the children. See, information is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
If you get it into your soul, if you get it into what? Into the organism. The organism will operate off of the information you give it. That's why we are what? Genetically modified through misinformation.
Right.
That's why we do things in our own...
detrimental.
Against our own... Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
And we get angry at each other, but we need to understand what's going on with us and have a more loving understanding of what's happening with us.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Now, what do you say to those who feel that the calcitrated pineal gland of a lot of the Europeans, where they don't even have it in them to go the righteous way of life?
Well, again, I'm
and not all. I'm not. You know, I hate that I have to say that. But
it's a majority.
Warranted.
It's no doubt. It's no doubt, because we can never say it's everybody.
Right.
It's not. It can never be everybody.
Right.
There are anomalies.
But everything. I think that's oppression in and of itself, when you have to always come back with.
But
not all.
I know.
You know?
Exactly.
But anyway,
exactly.
But go ahead. But
exactly.
In your thoughts about that.
But the pineal gland, which regenerates itself between 10 and 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night to 4 o'clock in the morning, the pineal gland regenerates itself.
Break down what that is for those who may not even know what you're saying.
Well, that, a lot of people call it the third eye. Mm-hmm. And I always like to use the word intimacy.
I got a symbol here on my table, the third eye, up top. Okay.
I like to use the word intimacy, because intimacy says, "Into me I see," and that's what the pineal gland is about. Into me I see. It's the insight that gives me my eyesight. It's the insight that gives me my eyesight. That's the pineal gland. It's the vision that you see beyond your eyes. If you can get to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the vision you see beyond your naked eyes. That's the pineal gland. And so, and some people will say, it's the intuition. Yeah, it's tied to intuition as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a silent stillness kind of thing, and you access it through silence and stillness.
Yes.
Come on through. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And so.
And so within, I was saying, with the Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountain.
Yeah.
And how well, there's been studies that prove that the calcitrated pineal gland
I've heard of it.
causes those who have it to not have the conscious.
Excuse me again. Mm-hmm. Oh, you taking a photo?
No. Come on through. It's organic here. We just talking.
Yeah. Right.
What did you say?
Well, to where when you're making decisions as it relates to morality or a higher conscience of, well, if I do this, this may hurt somebody. Well, somebody with a calcitrated pineal gland don't necessarily take those type of things into consideration, like someone whose pineal gland is not calcitrated.
Well, ask the doctor about the
I'm sorry. Hi, how you doing? Wasn't quite ready for the camera, but how can I help you?
We were talking about calcitrated pineal glands.
Calcified?
Yeah.
Calcified
pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the question? We was like, I forgot my own question.
What impact does it have on people's insight regarding morality and righteousness?
Yeah.
Okay. Not as sure about the depth. Understanding that the pineal gland is the channel through which we communicate beyond the body. It's the channel through which spiritual communication takes place.
Right.
So the pineal gland is in communication with the sun. The sun communicates directly through to the pineal gland information. So we think all we're getting is vitamin D. We think we're getting heat and light. There's so much more being transmitted to us. We're just not aware of it, and we're not being taught it because nobody wants to do that research. Because when they do that research, they'll find out why we have an advantage or we are different. Let's just say we're different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So with regard to whether your pineal gland is going to cause you to be more righteous than the next man just because of its calcification, you'd have to go and probably check down at the courthouse, there's a whole lot of dark people back there and come up front and get up on that stand that have done some pretty atrocious things that obviously did not submit to, if their pineal gland is the source through which they understand right and wrong, they didn't submit to it too well. So I would not say that there's any basis for that. What I would say is there's probably a basis for us having a capacity, having an ability, having a connection, having I guess an internal innate ability to translate information.
Well, it was studied. I just read a study from Harvard University they just done recently on that, where they studied the pineal gland of individuals, actually, and you know,
found that they were more righteous than those that didn't have,
and found that those who had calcitrated pineal gland didn't make moral decisions. Made their decisions based more on what had like
need.
They did the example of like if somebody had to be killed because they were hurting somebody else, and those with the calcitrated gland decided instantly that yes, they have to go, they got to die, versus somebody else without they mulled it over more, they considered it more, they thought so.
I think the understanding, it's a channel through which spiritual communication takes place. So we're more inclined to know right and wrong, because right and wrong is not something that you necessarily have to be taught.
That's right.
It's something that you just know. You just know it's wrong to slap somebody.
That's right.
You don't have to be taught that.
Yeah.
But maybe there are people who innately don't have that kind of ability to discern.
Let's take the police officers, for example. Why is it that, you know, more European, 99.9% of the time when it's the confrontation, it's the European police officers that kill a black brother or sister quick and easy, where you don't see all that going on with black officers.
Well, a black officer is not going to kill a white person as soon as a white person will kill a black person. Because black people have a problem putting a white person in the crosshairs of their gun. First of all, that's not something that's easy for us to do, and that might have something that play into what you're bringing out. But we as a people are not prepared as much so to put a white person in those crosshairs as we are a black person. So maybe it doesn't, because we'll put a black person in those crosshairs and we'll pull that trigger.
Because we're taught that. Yeah, we're taught that. That's
so why is that?
That's the information. We go right back to the information that's downloaded into us genetically, and that's why we operate primarily off of misinformation. Misinformation. We won't do that because we say that our Jesus, even though we don't want to admit, a lot of us say we got that black Jesus up there, but a lot of us grew up with what?
Yeah, the white Jesus.
With the white Jesus on the wall.
White God.
The white God.
White president.
That's what I'm saying. So that's still,
subconsciously.
That's still in there. A lot of us.
And it's not just white Jesus, God, and president, but it's white doctor, white helper. The person who comes to you to provide you with help many times is the real help.
The white actor and actress starring roles in all the movies that we watch.
So you're not as inclined to kill somebody who you think maybe I could be in greater trouble if I hurt them than if I hurted a person who looked like me.
Yeah.
And so critical race theory is something that definitely needs to be, you can overlay that on everything that we do, from our diet to our health system to of course the criminal justice system and to every system. Racism exists there. And for us to disconnect from that and try to play that down, as we lose our foundation for argument. Because many times that is the justification. People are saying the reason why I'm doing this to you is because of literally what you look like.
Yeah, exactly.
And so going back again to the pineal gland, the more malleable, the more active the pineal gland, supposedly the more melanin, the darker the person is. So the more intimidating that individual is, because that individual has the capacity again to do something or to tap into something that others don't. And that's intimidating.
Yes, it is.
What happens if we one day tap into it and don't let them know?
Yeah.
Right.
Then it's like, whoa, at that point they could push this other button that could, wipe us out or whatever.
That's interesting you say push that button, because I was talking to Brother Ayo, and he, Ayo is a very fiery brother. And he said, well,
also known as.
Why they come at us the way they come at us? I said, well, if they thought that we weren't that powerful, they would come after us with a butter knife.
That's right.
Or a deuce,
That's
Saturday
right.
night special. I said, they have created all this weaponry. Nuclear bombs, missiles. I said, and yet, we are just melanated people.
But that's just it. We're not just melanated.
Yeah.
We're obviously something that we're not being taught.
Yeah, that's right.
We're
that's
something magnificent. We're something phenomenal. And
Yeah.
if we learn
Yeah,
more
that's very
about
true.
the phenomenon that we represent,
Yes.
then we'll understand why. Because they obviously have a justification for doing what they're doing.
No doubt about it.
I think our issue is we want to help them get over it.
Yeah.
We want to do everything we can. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You and me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
mano.
We
you know,
forgive.
we're brothers.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they're not ready to
Yeah.
do that. And
No.
I get it. Because they're doing it for the preservation of their race.
That's
There you
right.
go.
For the preservation
That's
of
right.
That's
their
right.
kind.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And it appears as though it's aggression towards us. Really,
Yeah.
it's aggression towards
It's
protecting
self-preservation.
themselves.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
self-preservation,
It is.
and I don't
It is.
think you're right.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
not-
you
and it's not
understand
personal.
it. It's
And-
not
and
And
personal.
it's not personal.
And they don't see it as wrong.
There you
That's
go.
right.
They don't
Don't
see
see it
what
as
they're
wrong.
doing as wrong.
That's right.
Right.
That's a
We
very good
do
point.
because
We want to judge it.
yes.
We want to judge it.
Yes.
We want to judge it.
Yes.
And I had this conversation with a friend of mine that, you know, when you see weeds and grass, weeds go after grass. It's not personal.
That's right.
The
lion and the gazelle.
A hawk will come down and snatch up baby robins.
The lion and the gazelle.
When a lion attacks that, is that violence?
Absolutely.
Is that violence?
Absolutely.
Well, it would be perceived as violence by the gazelle and the other
Yeah.
gazelles who got away. But the lion is just eating his meal.
That's right.
And it's for ecological balance.
That's
At
right.
the end of the day, it's for ecological. That's the cosmic dance that we don't want to plug into.
Yes.
The truth of that cosmic dance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't want to plug into that.
But we don't understand it on that level.
And
Yeah.
we've had it brought to our attention before that the European, or we'll call it the racist European, because not all
Yeah.
Europeans are
Yeah.
necessarily on the same track. So
Yeah.
the racist European who decide that this needs to be at the forefront of everything that they do
Yeah.
are the ones that are, if you want to call it keeping us in balance, but they're the ones that are getting rid of what they explained to me were the weak ones. We will destroy your weak ones so that the strong ones are going to be the ones that make it
Yeah.
and do whatever needs to be done, because the weak ones weren't going to do it anyway.
Well, that's been the case throughout history.
Yeah.
So all throughout history, I mean, here we are standing today, the strongest of the strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can go back millions of years. Everybody don't survive
No.
the wars and the fighting and the collisions and all the calamities,
catastrophes,
all that.
Natural disasters.
But yet and still, man has always walked the earth, man and woman. Yeah.
So it is one that we just need to recognize as a lamb does a lion. A lamb does not find comfort
How
in
you
being
doing?
in the
Hi.
presence
Looking for the
of a
restaurant?
lion.
Restaurant this way.
Does not find comfort, and we need to be careful that we're doing too much to find comfort
Yes.
in the presence
Yes.
of our predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our predator
Yes.
knows, again, it doesn't
Yes.
see it as wrong
No.
that they would destroy, annihilate, and eat us.
No doubt.
ultimately.
No
Right.
doubt.
And we have to be mindful. That's the mentality.
That's the
And they
paradigm
will
shift.
not see it as wrong.
No.
Right.
What do you mean? You mean I
Right.
shouldn't eat the food that was placed before me?
Right.
That's the paradigm shift that we have to have in our thinking, because we want to always put it into morality.
Yeah.
As opposed to that's just what.
That's the nature.
There you go. The
That's the
nature
nature.
of this
Can't we
organism.
all just get along?
There you go. Yeah.
All
It's
that
his nature.
stuff.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
Right.
nature is to do what he's doing.
There you go. There you go. And we need to stop judging it, because that's what it does.
Right.
We need to understand what it does to us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For our own survival.
Yeah.
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 For our own survival.
So what would be the route to take to move to come up out of that type of mind state?
Well, I think you've seen the image of the shark going after the individual fish in the ocean. And then you see the counter image of the 100 fish that have made themselves into look like a big fish. It's a school of fish going after the shark.
Yeah.
That I think our unification, our coming together, being of one mind, one energy, one purpose, one destination, working together towards building something.
Yes.
That represents
Yes.
the largest threat, which is why
Yeah.
our we in the military were polarized, because if you didn't polarize those black people, they were going to come together and start the revolution.
No doubt.
And and the revolution didn't have to be necessarily an attack on any specific body. The revolution was just us coming together and strengthening and supporting and building up our community.
Yes.
Right.
Nobody wants to see that happen.
No.
Right.
We've seen that, as much as they promulgate Tulsa, but hell, you had Durham, North Carolina. That's where the black banks and that's where all the black insurance companies were. Durham, North Carolina. You had Wilmington, Delaware, wiped out because of us coming together and building collectively.
Yep.
Umoja,
Yep.
Kujichagulia, all these words we talk about doing Swahili, but we don't practice as much as we should.
Right.
Just the mere fact that we are right here in everlasting life, just coming together. This is something that became organic in here, just through conversations.
Right.
This is not planned. We don't plan this. We just have conversation. We feel the same vibrations.
Right.
That's why the conversation sparked on its own.
Yeah, the culture hub.
Yeah.
Everlasting life is an echo center.
Yeah.
It's a whole being on and it's like got its own life.
That's very true.
Some people come here for food.
Yeah.
Some people come here because they want a book. They want to just be in the presence of the people.
Yeah.
Some come here because they got a product to sell.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
No doubt.
In this echo sphere.
That's a very good. That's a very good way of putting it.
Of energy.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And second Rod mentioned, he said they see us as King Kong and our people see them as angels. But that's because of the depictions.
Yeah, of
because
course.
they control all the media outlets. They control print.
A lot of the majority of our imprisonment is in the language.
Break that
You
down.
know, the only word in the American language that's positive for black people is Black Friday. And that don't really talk about us. It's really talking about a balance sheet of an income statement. But they call it Black Friday. But that's the only time black throughout the entire dictionary is seen as positive. So anytime you use the word black, is always something negative. Can you imagine having that language in your head over and over and over again? How in the world could you ever see anything positive?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dark shadows.
Devil's food cake.
Black ominous presence.
Black magic.
There you go. Or
Black cat.
what do we? There you go. Cross your path. Or what do we say when we say someone did you wrong? We say, man, I was blackmailed.
Yeah. Blackballed.
Or blackballed. Now, how can you take black and put that with blackmail or blackball when we haven't done anything negative to anyone,
Should we stop using that word?
but not to each other?
Should we stop using the word black?
No. You know what I do? When I was in the office, someone would say, man, I was black male. I said, no, you was white male.
That's right.
And I
Flip the script.
And I said in front of white people. And they said, well, why did you say that? I said, because we have no history of being that evil. But they do. So let's just correct the language.
Right.
You were white male.
Right.
Because you were what? You were tricked into doing something that you normally wouldn't have done had the truth been presented to you.
Yeah, that's really good talk. What about this whole Juneteenth? What are they working in Congress to make it a
Well, today
holiday?
they made it a federal holiday today.
Federal holiday?
Yeah, federal paid holiday today.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
Today. You know, really,
Yeah, I was just checking. Let me look at
they constantly take out pain and suffering and make money off of it. You see, in Tulsa, they built a $30 million museum where tourists can come, a tourist attraction, and yet they never paid the people who the atrocities happened to. So in other words, you tell me that the criminals who committed this crime are no longer here, that's why we can't pay you. But you keep profiting off of the crime. The crime still lives, and you keep profiting off of it.
That's like the movies. It's the new slavery movie come out
There you
every
go.
year.
But you keep telling me, let's stop talking about it, but you keep selling me back my pain and suffering.
And making a profit off
And making
of
a
it.
profit off of it.
Yeah.
But you keep telling me, stop talking about it because you're not going to get reparations. You're not going to get money for work done payments. If someone worked on your house, they come around. If they've been working out back, they come around to the front door when they're done and knock on the door and say, I'm done, and you pay the person. We're asking for work done payments.
Yeah. Yeah, and
It's
so
not
they,
a handout. Not a handout. It's,
Yeah.
it's work done payments.
and so they toss us these what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it's nothing tangible.
Talking about Juneteenth.
Yeah, it's nothing tangible. It's like, here, just take that, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Appeasement.
yeah.
It's appeasement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hush, hush.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Just
appeasement.
hush.
Well, I think I heard this tale, and I don't know whether you were talking about reparations.
Yeah.
We briefly, I call them work done payments.
Right. So, in my estimation, again, understanding who we're dealing with, reparations would be right.
Yeah.
That would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with an entity that
Yeah.
has demonstrated that they're not on record for doing what's right.
No doubt
Right.
about
Not
it.
wanting to do what's right,
Yeah.
not able even sometimes to do what's right. And for us to continue to impress upon them
Yeah.
and to put pressure and admonish them to do
Yeah.
what's right, I think at some point it's futile. I think
Yeah.
it's again, it's like going out to the lion and saying, "Look, man, you slaughtered half the field."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when are you gonna make this
When you
right?
gonna ease up a
You know,
little bit.
Yeah. When are you gonna make this right? And it's not in them.
Yeah.
It's not in
Yeah.
them to do that.
Yeah.
And for us to have that expectation
Yeah.
is
Consistently.
disconnect. We have
Yeah.
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And then we're forgetting, wait a
Yeah.
minute, this is my predator.
Yeah.
Right.
And my predator will
Yeah.
be my predator, you know, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in a lot of the religious institutions, they teach you, though, that, you know, they don't teach you have a predator.
Right.
They teach you to love all people
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But that's the religion we got from where? We got that from the crack of the whip and the barrel of a gun.
Right.
That's not out. That's not
yeah,
our
but going
traditional.
back into what he mentioned about the dissonance of it all,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
is that
that's right.
if you've always was trained since a baby
That's right.
to love all people
Yeah.
and don't look at people,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying, then
Yeah.
how do you assess that you
Yeah.
have a natural enemy,
Yeah.
a natural predator? You
Yeah.
don't look at it that way.
No, they
Or
don't.
even when you do, we're told to love them.
Yeah.
Right.
You are the
Yeah.
chicken. That's again, those are teachings that work to their benefit.
Of course,
to ours.
not your
Right.
house. Not your house.
Right, and who taught
Not
you
your
to do that?
house. I know.
You know what I'm saying? Who taught you that for their own self
Yeah.
benefit?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
And
just
that would
carry
make
it
sense.
on.
If I were them, I
Yeah.
would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
How do I perpetuate this? Well, I educate them so that they never, you know, it's like the farmer. The farmer would never empower the animals in the farm to overtake him.
Not at all.
No.
Right.
No, it's just like
Not at all.
politically. They would never empower us to take over them unless they were comfortable with the assimilation that we had achieved and knew that their agenda was still going to be. You know,
Hence why
fulfilled.
reparations is not, in my opinion, will ever hit the table unless.
Not by them.
No,
right,
not
I
by
was
them.
I was about
No,
to say,
no,
unless a
no,
majority
no,
of us
Mm-mm.
take over that Congress or Senate or whatever,
And
because
if you-
it's like what you're empowering your enemy.
Of course.
So if they giving
course.
us reparations, they're empowering their enemy. Now,
Yeah.
who in their right mind would do that?
Right.
We don't see it that way,
If
but
you look at the strategic positioning of Juneteenth today, because you know it never leaked out that that's what Biden was doing, that he was secretly putting together legislation for a federal paid holiday. He just announced it, and so you know, once again, you know, they know how to tap into us. You know, we leave the world and feeling good about stuff, with no substance with it,
Right.
with no substance whatsoever. But we love feeling good. They gave us Obama. That was a feel-good thing. Now people starting to realize that Obama wasn't all they said he was. You know,
Same predicament.
Same thing with the VP.
that's right.
Same thing with the VP. Anytime she follows Tim Scott on the news and say there's no such thing as racism.
She sure did. Yeah, well, you
Uh-huh.
got to play that game when you in it. Tapping and
Yeah.
feet. Tap
Well,
dancing.
and I think you have to understand perspective too. So from someone else's perspective, there is no such thing as racism.
Not at all.
It's no different than the animal who says, the lion who says,
There you go.
I did nothing wrong by killing that lamb.
Not at all.
That was not wrong. That was not a wrong doing.
Not
That's
from a
how
moral
I nourish
standpoint. Yeah,
myself.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
I have done nothing wrong. I've just nourished myself.
That's all
I've
I
done
did.
what I'm supposed to do. They're here for me to eat, and I eat them.
There you go.
And again, I think we want to be seen differently in the eyes of our predator.
Yeah.
We want to be seen as an equal.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. Because the minute he allows in his mind to see us as an equal, where's his food going to come from?
Yeah.
What's he going to eat?
Yeah.
Who's he going to suppress and oppress?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And
so it's not to his advantage to allow us to
at all
coexist, with him.
Right.
And we want to say up there with him, but it's really down there with him. It's not.
That's right.
It's not to his
That's
advantage
right.
for us to coexist with him.
True.
And nor is it to our advantage to coexist with them, unless the environment that has been created where we exist has become so toxic, so vile, so threatening that you find yourself wanting to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always said that Trump was good for us, and people used to chase me down the street with pitchforks and all kinds of stuff.
Emotionalism.
Yeah, and the reason why I said that is because the things that Trump, the policies and the things he would say out of his mouth, it was backing us into a corner. Mm-hmm. And we know when you back into a corner, there's no rationalization that comes out of you. There's no discussion comes out of you. The fight comes out of you. And I was looking for that.
Well, what about this administration? I think this administration
it's a
backs
softer
us even
approach.
harder.
It's a softer approach, and we always
Really?
get rocked to sleep with Democrats.
Especially
But Malcolm it's a fox or a wolf.
when we dealing
They
with
both are canines.
morals and ethics. When we dealing morals and ethics, we.
I'll show you how the Democrats are just as much as a fox. I mean, just as much as a wolf. Now here you got a Democratic administration when Biden was on his deathbed going into South Carolina, and Clyburn, senator from South Carolina, resuscitated, gave him mouth to mouth. That's what put Biden in office. That's what put him in office. That's how he became the nominee. With all those black people, it's almost like a Black Friday rush to a sale. That's how much black people turned out for Biden. And now you tell me you got problems with the George Floyd legislation because one of the Democrats say we don't support suspending the filibuster because I want to work across the aisle. I want to work across the aisle with Republicans. Republicans didn't say that when they stacked that Supreme Court. Filibuster ain't come out of nobody's mouth. Now all of a sudden, we want to work across the aisle.
So what are your thoughts on just the whole political theater altogether? I mean, how do we, I'm of mind that our salvation ain't coming from the halls of Congress. It's just not. And this
brother said it.
And I get that we all have our.
It's economics.
Well,
but I get it. We need to be everywhere.
Well,
I get that.
That would be my thought. My thought is that if there's a space where we're being attacked, we need to have a response. And we're being attacked politically. We're being attacked economically. We're being attacked socially, and the list goes on. Judicially, we need to have our people in those places because I would much rather you be the judge in the front of the room than somebody else who I know doesn't mean me any good.
Yeah.
I know you had to do some assimilation and you had to lose some integrity and you had to do some things to get to that position, but at least I know, okay, well, at least when you look at me, somewhere at some point you might see yourself. And you might say,
something might click, huh?
I might not want to give you the death penalty. Or I might want to give you this loan so that you can refinance your house. Or I might want to provide you with
That's real
talk.
That's real talk.
Or
That's
you're finding
true.
nurses and doctors behind the scenes that are saying, hey, black people are being mistreated. They're the ones that are dying from so on and so forth. And that's why the FDA and the CDC used that black woman who was supposedly on the team. They said, let's use her because they knew that would then make us feel like, well, we know one of us wouldn't want to kill us.
I know.
Well, what's happening in Chicago, and Baltimore, and Detroit,
right.
Memphis,
there you go.
Well, that's the new trend.
Yeah.
Whenever they wanted to get us on board, they just put one of us out front or multiples of us out front.
Because it's energy. When we see somebody who looks like us, we give them the nod. They give us the nod.
There
we
you
think
go.
everything's good.
That's right.
No, I'm getting a check. I'm getting a check for what I'm doing.
And what I'm about to do to you.
You about to take an L.
Wow.
That's real. That's real. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So, Second Ra said, right, it would delete their attempts to keep saying white is superior on the organism statement. Brother was on point. I can't remember. I went back. So we were talking about something a little earlier.
Okay.
A little earlier. So, hello.
So it's there's work that we have to do, but I think a lot of the work has to be done inside of our mind.
Yeah.
If Mama wants to sit down, Mama can't sit down.
Who we are,
Guess what?
and where we are, and
Guess
who
what?
they are.
I was
Yeah.
raised that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you ain't doing
Well,
nothing
okay.
strange to me. I was raised that way.
Right.
My
That's
mother
our
knocked me off
combo for
the
the
chair if I get
moment.
up
And
for one.
so, we'll come back to you next week. So the goal is to, come at you guys with this, impromptu
Go and
conversations.
enjoy yourself, Mama, and your chair be here when
every
you
week.
come back.
So check us out Fridays,
want it.
3 p.m. The irritated one is not here, as you can see today. He's
And Kwame's
doing something
out.
other with his time, but he'll
Yeah.
he'll be back with us next week, I believe. He got to do a lecture up in New York,
Yeah, I think he said that.
so I'm not sure when, but.
But Kwame said he'll be here
coming
tomorrow,
back.
so who knows?
So
he'll be
and
back.
other folks too.
Yeah.
So thanks
Yeah.
for chiming in. Thank y'all for your comments and your points. Get the word
Thanks
out
for ear
there.
hustling. Thanks for ear
And come
hustling.
on through. If you want to join us
There
in
you
the
go. Come on
conversation,
through. There you go.
Fridays at 3
That's the
o'clock,
key.
right here at Everlasting Life.
There you go.
Come on through. We'll
Yeah.
make it a group discussion.
That's right.
All right,
That's
family.
right.
Take care. Oh, let me I don't know. He might not want me to post that.
What's
though.
that?
I was going to mention that. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
No, let him do
But anyway,
Yeah.
I will be, if you guys are in
Here, post that.
Okay,
Music
here,
Expose program.
mention it.
Listen to.
Hold up, let me switch it around. Hold up. Okay.
Before we go, the Prince George's County Arts and Humanities Council have some space out at National Harbor. They're doing something for Juneteenth. They got some live music out there on Saturdays and Sunday from 12 to 4. But also the art gallery is open up, and you can take a look at the video by Music Expose. We did a production for Juneteenth and Black Music Month.
Okay.
And so if you don't catch the video, you can listen to it on the station every day at 6 o'clock from now to the end of the month. And that's Music Expose, MUZIKXPOSE.net.
All right.
All right? Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
And I want to show you guys something I have going on. Tomorrow, June 19th, I will be at Camp Springs Masonic Center on Old Branch Avenue in Temple Hills. They're having a Black Business Expo, indoor and outdoor shopping. So come on and see me if you're in that area, or if let somebody else know about it. And that's the Juneteenth celebration for tomorrow. Okay, family. Thanks for chiming in. Take care of each other. Peace.